Well, good morning, guys. And it is morning. I'm not lying. It's about 9:30. I've just got to Crewe Alexandra for their game against Shrewsbury Town. Shrewsbury are lying in 22nd position. Not very good. Crewe are 9th. So definitely going to go Crewe attack first half. But as you can see, it's dull and overcast. Might get a bit of rain, so I've got on my waterproof gear. So without further ado, let's make our way to the ground. I'll get signed on. Quite a nice stadium, actually. Certainly be good for a few GVs in a bit. Right, go and get signed on. Right, got my pass. Here we are. Here's Crewe's ground. Quite looking forward to this one. I've shot here once or twice before, but massive stand, this one. Massive stand. But I reckon I'm going to go usual spot down the 18-yard line somewhere. But I must just find out which side is the away end. But anyway, let's go and get set up and get some GVs. Might be nice to go right up there, actually, and get a nice GV, because I bet you can see the town over that small stand. So anyway, let's get cracked on, get set up and get some GVs. Catch up at full time. Well, not a bad game that at all. And as you can see, the weather improved immensely, although really harsh conditions, really testing conditions. Players were in and out of the shadows and then into massive bright highlights. So I was up and down on my exposure compensation all the time, but managed to get all 3 goals for Crewe Alexandra. Did miss the Shrewsbury goal, but it was far end and it was a bit of a melee of players. But oh, just go down this curb. But yeah, great game. Got all 3 goals, all 3 celes, and yeah, fantastic. Right, I'm going to head back to the car now, and I'll catch you back at home, and we'll go through the set. Job's a good one. Right, back in the warmth again. It was quite sunny, quite bright, really harsh light, but bit nippy as well. Definitely, it was woolly hat weather anyway. But yeah, what a great game! And just for once, I've been waiting for a game like that. Yes, I did miss the Shrewsbury goal, but it was a bit of a melee, like I said just now. Just a gathering of players, and I got the celebration, as you'll see in a minute, but nothing too special. But I got the 3 Crewe goals. Got the 3 Crewe goals and the 3 Crewe celes, and yeah, really fantastic. But anyway, without further ado, let's have a look at the set. Right, yeah, so like I said, I was tempted to go right up into the top of that big main stand. And as you can see here, you can see most of the town. You can certainly see that high-rise block of flats anyway. But yeah, and the terraced houses here. And it just sets off the scene quite nicely. You get a picture of whereabouts the ground is, whereabouts it's positioned. But it's funny, really, because I don't know why, but I saw this chap. When I got myself set up, he was about here, and I thought, oh, I'm going to have to wait ages. And I thought, tell you what, I'll try and time it right and get him so that he's just making a stride right in the centre there. And it sort of adds to it a bit, I don't know. But interesting how one of the dugout boxes is smaller than the other. And I think this was the away end, which is quite interesting. But anyway, yeah, let's crack on. So yeah, I just went, I wanted to get a bit more of the housing in and a bit more of the industrial area here. And just go, you always go for a corner angle, don't you, when you're doing the GVs high up in the stands. But yeah, quite like that. And then I was just walking, I actually nipped to the loo, and I saw this wall art and I thought, oh, I'll have that. So yeah, I made just something a bit extra. And then back outside again once I nipped to the loo, and just got a nice low angle. Again, you can't escape that block of flats, but and this is where all the TV guys go. Look in the gantry up here. But yeah, just thought I'd get a nice low angle, and then something different. Keep off the pitch sign and Crewe Alexandra logo there. Look, the badge. So I just thought I'd shoot that. And nice ground, really nice ground to work at, and a couple more views of the pitch itself. You can see the size of that stand. It's huge compared to the other 3. But one or two of the players arriving, signing their autographs, and this was actually great. I should have got a picture of it. I regret not getting a picture of it. This chap here, he'd made a birthday card for his son. I think it was his son's 13th on the Sunday, I think. And nice little story, really. They go to every single game. They go to every single arrival of all the players, usually there for about 12, half 12, and he told his son, obviously wanted to keep this card a secret, got all the players to sign it, and told his son he was nipping down to the bookies and he'll be back in a bit. And while we were there, his son rang up and, what's going on, Dad? Where are you? We need to get to the ground. Really nice. But yeah, lovely gesture from his dad there. And obviously he had all the players on the front of the card. I should have took a shot of it really, but yeah, nice touch that. And he even got some of the players to do a happy birthday video, which was great. Great of the players. If ever you see a puddle, see if you can get a reflection. And I was just walking out just to get some fans, and I spotted this and I thought, oh, I reckon that might work quite nicely. And it did works quite nicely, that. Again, flip the screen out on the R5, literally touched I was holding the strap, nearly touched the puddle with your body, and then you can compose it in the screen with it flipped up, and yeah, worked quite nicely. That, you can't beat a good reflection when you've had some rain. But yeah, always have a look if you can see a puddle and you've got a nice composition. And then here's Shrewsbury arriving. That's the manager there. And not many of them went onto the pitch, unfortunately, which is a bit disappointing, but up into the stand. And then just got lots of different angles of the lads just looking at the pitch and that and checking things out. Low angle there again on the R3, yeah, on the R3, flip the screen out, hold it near the floor and just get the lads walking back towards you. And then I went back up because these two lads were hanging about for ages. I thought I'll go and get another shot just with the grass in the background. Look at this, he was funny, he was. Stuck his belly right out. She was laughing, look. But it made a lovely GV of fans arriving, so that was really nice. And then this Shrewsbury Town fan was asking for directions, and one of the Crewe fans and his daughter was just pointing to him. So I thought, bit of a messy old background, but just thought that was quite nice. Bit of camaraderie between two sets of fans. These lads were having a chippy. They did actually catch me, and they were looking at me for ages, and I think he's trying not to laugh, look, but yeah, they just grabbed some chips on the way to the ground. Then these two walk out. I love it when you can shoot down a terraced avenue. You know, you got the cars on one side and the houses and the little brick walls on the other, and they were having a nice chat. Obviously they'd spotted me, but it made a nice GV. And back in the ground now for a bit of warm up. Just the lads, picking some lads off warming up and that, and one or two of Shrewsbury. And the ref and his two assistants warming up, and that looks quite nice, looks quite concerned, doesn't he there, as if, you know, that could go with quite a few different stories. But there we are, nearly at kick-off now, and manager, I can't remember his flipping name, Mark Appleton. I think he was definitely at Oxford. I've seen him at Oxford when I was down there, when I photographed him when he was at Lincoln, I think. He's been at quite a few different places, different teams, but yeah. And I was knelt down for this, and I quite like the low angle, look at that. Really nice, up your nose shot, as I call it. But yeah, just a different angle, just makes it a bit different, slightly highlight and contrast on his forehead, but got away with that. Ref's coming out with his two assistants and the ball, and obviously Remembrance Sunday it was, so there was a minute's silence on the Saturday, so which was really nice. It was adhered to really well by all the fans. You could have heard a pin drop. It was lovely, really nice. And I got this, and I wanted to have both sets of staff, managers and staff, in focus. So I went to F11. I went down to what was that, 100th at F11. Just to get that nice depth at F11 from front to back almost, and both managers and their squads there. And then that's the Crewe manager. He was wearing an armband that I spotted, so I just thought I'd shoot that. Nice touch there. And then the trumpeter, he looks a bit serious, doesn't he? But and then a bit messy, I suppose. I'm on the 400 here. I just cut out the mascot, the Crewe mascot, and got most of the town. You can tell what's happening, can't you? Bit messy, perhaps. It'd have been nice if these were to the side, but once they were adhering to the minute silence, I didn't want to take a picture. I didn't want to move. I just observed it with them and just shot what I shot, really. But and then obviously I went to f2.8, look, to get myself a nice shallow depth, and just the Crewe Alexandra manager in focus there, and then one of Mark Appleton in focus there with his squad, and And then they put the when they just before kick-off, the trumpeter and his mate with the microphone, they came off and brought the wreaths off, and they just placed one in each corner of the dugout, which was nice. I just thought I'd get a quick shot of that again on the R3, flip the screen out, and away we went. And then we're into the match now. We're into the match, and a bit of reaction and whatever. And one of Mark Appleton looking at the play there, looking at one of his players. And oh yeah, I wanted to make sure that I got the poppies on the shirts, so got them pretty quickly, hosed them down pretty quickly to make sure that I got that covered. And here's the first goal, and it was a lovely goal. He slotted it in nicely, and then he gave us a lovely celebration and ran my way. And look at his mate there. And it was a great goal, and lots of nice sellies looking at me, and yeah, I really filled my boots. More dejection there, look, and that was that. And then pretty quickly, so that's 50, that's 150. Would that be one? No, that'd be 12. Got to get my clocks done, haven't I? Got to get my clocks done. And yeah, so that's, I must do that. Clocks went back, caught me out again. But anyway, make sure you do your clocks. I'll do them in a minute. But yeah, and I tell you what, I can't remember. I don't know why it's got that. Just there, look. Someone else, I think one or two of you have commented. I've had this in the past, and I can't remember how to change it. Not that it really matters, but I do need to get my date right and not J Bird of Salford City. But yeah, I'll have to look into that in a minute as well. But I keep forgetting to do these things. But yeah, nice celly anyway, look. And then just like that, 59, so 9 minutes later, Crewe scored. Shrewsbury scored, and he gave a bit of a celly towards his fans, but nothing too special. And that was about it for that. But yeah, the goal was a bit of a melee, so I don't think I missed much when I got back home at night and watched, and it was a bit messy. But anyway, I thought he was going to get another goal here, and the keeper came out. He went flying, look, and I thought, hey, up, what's happening here? Is it going to be a penalty? But there wasn't. But it'd been nice if there was with that shot. But he was getting a bit of a severe talking to from the ref. Ended up getting a yellow card, and a bit more of the Crewe manager just giving out a bit of instruction. This was a heck of a foul. This was. He ended up getting a yellow card, look, as well. But and then just a nice clean one of the ref there with his pop. He wanted to make sure I got that as well. And nice stock image there. Just an example of a nice stock image. And quite like this one, nice and balanced with a clean backdrop. But and you can see how harsh the light is. Look, I mean, it's still cloudy here, but the sun was definitely making an appearance. And this lad here actually headed it in, and he hit the bar. Look, hit the bar, and I've had to bring the shadows out a bit on that. But and then this is the next goal, which was a nice goal. This is obviously second half now, by the way, second half, and yeah. Nice goal. Look how bright it is on the backdrop, but as long as you've got the players nice and sharp and nice and lit up, I had to do the colours a bit. And then I'm sure he confused me with the club snapper, because he came straight at me and gave me a lovely celly, really nice, and managed to get that nicely. Bit more action, and yeah, Mark Appleton's just looking a little bit perturbed here. He's looking a little bit like, what am I going to do? 2-1, and Crewe were all over Shrewsbury, to be fair, second half for most of it anyway. And yeah, just one or two of him scratching his head. And and this player got subbed off, and all the kids came behind me and were high-fiving him, so that made just something a bit different, bit of a different shot. And one of the refs spraying the line. I always like to try and get that if I can, especially with light like this. But I was hoping for a bit more of sort of spray dust, but it just didn't happen. But anyway, I always grab that when I can. Nice bit of action here. He controlled that ball lovely actually, and went on to have a shot, I think, but to no avail. Another one of Mark Appleton thinking, what the bloomin' heck am I going to do? But just hose the managers down and get as much as you can. Here we go. Here's the third goal, and I think he'd been out of the squad for a while. Not too sure why, but he'd been out of the squad for a while. Made his return, number 9 he was, and lo and behold, he went and scored. And cracking celebration, took his shirt off and got a yellow card for it, you'll see in a minute. But yeah, lovely goal, slotted that in nicely, and then ran my way, and I thought, here we go. And took his shirt off and lobbed it. Look, most players sort of keep it and swing it round, don't they? But He lobbed his shirt, one of his teammates picked it up and then came my way, and you'll see here, look, so he's in the shade there. I've had to lift the shadows a bit, in the shadows, and then boom, look at the, you can see the difference, look now, in the shade, and then bang, in the light. Let's just have a look. Did I wind? No, I expect, yes, there we are, look, so there, it caught me out there, the shadow did, and I'm still at plus 1.7, look, for being in the shade. And then he come into the highlight tones, look, into the good light, and I knocked it down a whole stop to just plus 7, and that worked quite nicely. Shame he was just past me, but him and his players all celebrated in front of me, so that was great. I wound it down, look, to minus 0.3 there, look, to try and get these highlight tones about right, and I'm just about right there. Perhaps a bit burnt out on his face and on his face, but I'm at minus 3. So I've gone from plus 1.7 in the shade to try and give me a bit extra to minus 0.3, and then I just shot away then at that, and got some lovely celebrations, and then he came and looked my way again, and I kept hosing him down, and then I quickly spun round and got some of the fans cheering away, which was nice. He was having a good fist punch look, so that's made quite a nice shot, and then a few more sellies with his mates. And then his teammate comes and brings his shirt over, look. And you can see the referee hovering. I've got to give him a yellow card. And there's the card. But he was obviously a bit excited. I'd been out for a while and then scored a goal. It was great. And then he's just thinking, keep my head, look, keep my head. Looking at the fans. Then some of the young uns all cheering and punching the hoardings, which was quite nice. And quite like this. There was just one fan there, look, and it's a girl, so good to emphasise that the girls are going to football as well, and that's great to see, and just thought I'd send that. And then full time, here we are at full time, and lots of celebrations on the pitch, and then he came and had a bit more celebration with the fans. So he's in the sunlight there, look, and then he's in the shadows there, but see the difference. And some lovely light there as he was applauding the fans behind me. And yeah, bob on. And that's it to finish. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Great game. Nice to get 3 goals and 3 sellies. All my end. And yeah, job's a good one. I guessed right, because I said to a couple of other photographers, I said, it's got to be a Crewe win. This has. I'm going to take the risk and move with Crewe attack. And lo and behold, it worked out. Doesn't happen every game, but when it does, it works out nicely. It's a job's a good one, that's what it is. But anyway, I'm just trying to think where I am this Saturday. Where am I going? Accrington Stanley, that's where I am this Saturday. Accrington Stanley, been there a couple of times. Actually, it was the very first game I did, first ground I shot when I was on like trial for Shutterstock. So it'd be nice to go back there and shoot the game. So yeah, looking forward to that. It's a lunch. No, it's a 3 o'clock kickoff this weekend. So yeah. So look forward to that. And then I've got 3 games coming up that are all lunchtime kickoffs. So yeah, some early games coming up. But yeah, job's a good one. Well, I'll look forward to your comments, guys, and I'll try and catch up with the comments best I can. I did have a session of about an hour last week going through them and just trying to reply to everyone. But yeah, it's great that you're all commenting, and I am getting through them best I can, as quick as I can. But yeah, and I don't just like to click a like and then just leave it. I like to answer best I can every comment. So yeah, I'm getting through them. But yeah, thanks for if you're commenting. Do let me know where you're shooting this weekend, and hopefully weather, fingers crossed, might not be too bad. We've had a heck of a lot of rain. I mean, we've had about, I don't know, 2.5 inches of rain this week. So there might be some waterlogged pitches about in the lower leagues. But yeah, if you're out, hope you have a good shoot. And don't forget the Facebook group, Photography Chat. Come and join us if you haven't joined yet. Come and get your membership sorted and join the group, and then you can post all your work. Doesn't have to be sport, it can be anything. Landscapes, woodlands, seascapes, portraits, pets, anything. Black and white, street photography. If you're into any of that, never mind just the sport, it'd be great to see your work and come and have a chat. The group, it just about runs itself now, but I'll keep an eye on it. But anyway, job's a good one. I'm rambling on. Have a great weekend, guys, and we'll catch up next week. Job's a good one.